Welcome to Exponential Mindset, where we connect AI, cryptocurrencies, and markets to help you understand what matters and how to act each week. Today, we dive into the theories of Ray Kurzweil.
Yeah, that's a quote from Ray Kurzweil, the futurist and the director of engineering over at Google. And if you're thinking, that sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, well, you're not wrong. But here's the thing. All his mind-bending predictions, they're all built on this one single, really powerful idea. So to really get what Kurzweil is coming from, we've got to look under the hood, We need to understand the engine that drives all of his predictions. He calls it the law of accelerating returns. And this law, it has some pretty profound implications. See, our brains, they're just not wired for this kind of thinking. We naturally think in straight lines, right? We expect progress to be slow and steady. But Kurzweil says, nope, that's not how technology works at all. He suggests we're not going to experience 100 years of progress this century. Get this, it's going to be more like thousands of years of progress, all crammed into just one century.
So you might be asking, how does this acceleration even happen? Well, it's actually a pretty simple but super powerful feedback loop. Just think about it for a second. We use computers to design even better computers. We're using AI right now to develop more advanced AI. Each new step makes the next step easier and faster and way more powerful. It creates this like a virtuous cycle where development just keeps speeding up. Okay, so if progress is accelerating like crazy, what's actually driving it? What are the key technologies pushing us forward? Well, Kurzweil points to 3 specific fields, and they're all overlapping, that he believes are going to completely redefine what it even means to be human.
And this is where it all comes together. He calls it the GNR revolution. That's genetics, nanotechnology, and robotics. And the key thing here is he doesn't see them as separate things. No, he sees them as a convergence, all happening at once. Genetics, that's going to let us rewrite our own biological software. Nanotechnology, we'll be able to rebuild our hardware atom by atom. And robotics, or let's be real, strong AI, that's the super intelligence that's going to drive the whole shebang. So you take this exponential growth, you power it with that GNR revolution we just talked about, and it all leads to Kurzweil's most famous, most controversial, and honestly, most mind-blowing prediction, the singularity. We're talking about a point where technological growth becomes so fast and so deep that it just rips a hole in the fabric of human history as we know it.
And just to make this feel a bit more real, Kurzweil actually lays out a timeline. He predicts that by 2032, which is not that far away, tiny little nanobots will be floating around inside us, acting like a second immune system, repairing our cells, even reversing aging. Then, just a few years later, in the mid-2030s, our brains will be able to connect directly to the cloud. And it all leads up to the big one, 2045, the singularity, the moment our own biological intelligence fuses with machine intelligence.
The numbers he throws around here are just staggering. I mean, listen to this. Kurzweil calculates that by 2053, $1,000 worth of computing will be 7 million times more powerful than a human brain is today. Let that sink in. So the real kicker here isn't just that it's possible, it's that this makes the idea of digitally restoring a human mind not just a sci-fi dream, but actually affordable.
And, well, that leads us to the ultimate implication of all his work, doesn't it? The potential for digital immortality. We're talking about the idea that our consciousness, our very essence, could be moved beyond our fragile biological bodies and exist on a digital platform, totally free from decay and disease. Wild. Now look, Kurzweil's vision is absolutely compelling, but it really hinges on one massive assumption, that the human brain can be understood and, reverse engineered just like a computer. And guess what? Not everyone is on board with that idea. So, okay, let's dive into the other side of the argument.
Enter Marvin Minsky. He was one of the co-founders of the MIT AI Lab, a true pioneer. And he had a completely different take on all this. He didn't see the brain as this one single elegant system. He saw it as a messy, clunky, complicated collection of different structures that have just been kind of layered on top of each other over millions of years of evolution.
So let's put these two views side by side. On one hand, you've got Kurzweil, who believes there's a basic, repeatable pattern in our brain, in the neocortex, that we can just unlock and copy. But then you've got Minsky. He saw hundreds of different systems all working in their own unique ways. For him, intelligence wasn't about one single brilliant principle. Nope. It was about resourcefulness. It's like being a great manager knowing which of those 400 little computers in your head to turn on or off to solve whatever problem is in front of you.
In this debate, This fundamental disagreement over the nature of our own minds, it leads us straight into some of the deepest philosophical questions you can even imagine. We're talking about identity, consciousness, and the very definition of what makes you, well, you.
So, we have to leave you with this final thought. If Kurzweil is right, and your mind is just a pattern of information that can be copied, then maybe that digital backup of you is just as real as the original. But what if Minsky is right? What if you aren't a pattern, but the complex, messy, ongoing process of all those hundreds of little systems working together? Can a process like that ever truly be copied? The answer to that question, well, it changes everything. To learn more and stay up to date with the latest in the world of AI and exponential technologies, visit exponentialtom.com and subscribe to the channel.